Stakeholders in the alcoholic beverage industry are proposing stringent self-regulation as the way forward to ensure that the country tackles the issue of illicit alcohol. Under the mantle of the Alcoholic Beverage Association of Kenya, ABAK, 10 of the largest manufacturers signed a self-regulatory code of conduct that will guide how they sell and market their products to consumers. Julia Wino has more.
The alcohol industry has in the recent past been under thorough scrutiny due to the pervasive effects of the unregulated and alleged illicit brew that has found its way onto counters across the country. The proliferation of substandard drinks has been blamed for damaging effects on consumers' health and a host of social ills like addiction, dips in reproductive health in some parts, as well as drops in the productivity of consumers. Out of the constant friction with various arms of government, the manufacturers say they are ready to hold each other accountable and asked for more surveillance on the grey and black areas of the market by government.
And one of the things that we are calling for is for government to support us as well, because if we grow, the revenues are going to grow. And we're also encouraging regulation that does not hamper the growth of our business. So because our businesses need to be sustainable.
Retailers are at the front line in the war against counterfeits and illicit brews. Under the Pubs and Restaurants Association of Kenya, PERAC, they have urged the government to stop its lazy approach to tackling issues like illicit brewing and substandard products. They are also accusing government of targeting legitimate businesses.
Counties are structured at the moment are not adequately addressing the issue where they need to be addressing. The biggest problem with alcohol sale is actually illicit alcohol, but we tend to feel that they're focusing more on the legitimate businesses as opposed to dealing with the vice of illicit. And that's something that we feel that we need to come together and get workable solutions to address the problem.
ABAK says it will likewise set special standard for advancement of responsible drinking and dispassion of alcoholic items as it focuses on bringing out the most outstanding level of duty and morals from the retailers and workers in their channel. The crackdown on illicit alcohol has led to the closure of many businesses, especially wines and spirits shops. The manufacturers are continuously supporting the government by asking the government to concentrate more on illegal alcohol businesses. Julie Owino, KTN News.
Many thanks, Julie, for that update. And let's talk matters to do with the green bonds now. And climate change is now a reality, and countries like Kenya bear most of the brunt brought about by population and environmental degradation. One of the ways that has been examined as a path to ameliorate these effects is the introduction of green bonds. So just how do these green bonds work? Here's more.
Green bond is something most of the world is still positioning itself to adopt. These green bonds are like regular bonds, which are fixed income securities that are issued as debt, but used to finance projects with environmental benefits. Since mooting off the idea in Kenya in 2017, the country has been in a race to make them reality.
We believe that green and sustainable finance presents a great opportunity, and as an exchange, we seek to provide all the support we can to help our listed entities and create a level playing field for responsible business.
It is noteworthy that we are yet to reach global consensus as to what should be the globally applicable green standards. And therefore, the partnerships that Kenya adopts will be central to determining the scale of funds we're able to attract as a jurisdiction.
For the initiative to succeed, there is a need for a greater cooperation between the public and private sector. According to the Climate Change Bonds Taxonomy, the green bonds market currently accounts for a colossal of $155 billion US. And while the Kenyan market alone has 2.4 trillion shillings potential market, so what are the benefits?
The National Treasury also has its own financing needs, some of which, and let's say financing needs meaning projects, some of which actually are green and can be packaged in a green sort of portfolio. And it seems to us that this is why we're here, meaning it is quite possible to pull out specific things, just like we have now infrastructure bonds.
Achieving the ambitious SDGs and the Paris Agreement can only be possible by working and pooling resources together globally, regionally, and nationally, and jointly between the public and private sectors.
In the race to provide an additional source of green financing and also to take advantage of green bonds market, sustainable green projects stand to make mostly benefit. Perhaps what also needs to be added is civic education on what most say is a complex world of finance jargon, even as the financial sector looks so green. Fahmo Mohammed, KTN News.
Well, on that note, that's why we want to bring business news to a close this evening, even as the shilling continues to remain steady, closing off at 101. Well, my name is Abia Gina. Coming up next is sports. Have a lovely evening.